Hey Foxy Stars, your girl Foxy, and I'm back. So today's video is a little different for me today. I was going to do this live, but I didn't think I would get through it live, so I decided to record this video. So let's get right back into it. So 4 years ago today, my husband started chemo. And I'm going to take you through our little journey. So bear with me. I'm going to try to get through this. I'm going to give you a perspective of his side. And I'm going to give you the perspective of my side. Because you got the side of the person that's going through it. You got the side of the person who's actually going through it with the person as the caregiver. So this is my story, my journey, my update. 4 years ago in July, a couple weeks in July, I don't know the exact date. Well, let me go further back. A month before we found out that he had cancer, my husband had this little knot on the left side of his neck, and the way it looked, we thought it was a goiter. And it's like, okay, it's a goiter, you got stuff for it, we're going to go away. We're going to go to the doctor and see what it is. So when we finally was able, to get an appointment for him to go in and get it checked out, they was like, okay, we're not for sure what it is, so you need to go do a biopsy. So they sent us to do a biopsy. Once we did the biopsy, they had him come back like the next week to get the results. So when we went to the doctor's office to get the results, I didn't go back there with him because I was, I had took off from work just to go to the doctor with him and do all the things that, I should do. And I was outside in a waiting area, just working, doing some work on my laptop. When he came out the office, I was like, everything okay? He just looked at me and told me, no, let's just get out of here and let's go into the car. I'm like, what's going on? So as soon as we got to the car, he told me I was done. The way they told him is that it looks like it's cancer, but we need you to go see a specialist so we can confirm it to make sure to see what kind of what it is. So as soon as we left out the doctor's office, we hadn't even been gone for the doctor's office for 10 minutes, and we get a phone call. And the phone call is from the cancer specialist doctor. They was like, we need you to come in today. It was like, wow, we just left the other doctor. So we just turned around and we went to the cancer, to the doctor where the cancer treatment is seen. So we went there, and as soon as we walked into the room, we went there 5 minutes. We walked in, doctor come in, he just said, you have cancer and we need to start treatment immediately. We was like, oh, whoa, back up, wait a minute. Can we get a second opinion? Can we see what's going on? And apparently they must have ran the test a couple of times to ensure what it was. Now, when we found out that it was in the left side of his lymph node. So it was like a little small bump, and then it got real big. It grew like overnight. I'm like, what is going on? So that's what made us really just say look into it and see what's going on. So that's how we found out that he had cancer. So now we find this out sometime like towards the end of July. I do believe a week later, it was August the 13th, 4 years ago today, that we started chemo treatments. So the first day that we went, now before we went to have to start the chemo treatment, so this is a span of 2 weeks. So after we found out that he had cancer, we had to make an appointment for us to go for him to get a port put in his chest. He has a port that's on the right side. It's in his chest. So we have to go get that done. It's a port where, if anybody don't know what a port is, it's where they administer the medicine through that portal, so they don't have to do it through the IV and the arms and stuff like that, because it was going to be real intensive. So he had to get the port in. So that was like an outpatient surgery, So as soon as he got the port in, the following week after we found out, get the report in, a week after that, August 13th, when we had the first day of chemo. So we go into the chemo, and the first day of chemo, okay guys, sorry about that. So to continue on, so the first day we had the treatment. The treatment was like being at work. It was like literally like he had a job. So what they did, they gave him, we was there for like maybe 4 to 5 hours, because the first hour they gave him like medicine, so it like medicine before you get the treatment to help with any infections, or if your body might not react good to it. They gave him a nausea medicine to help with the nausea that might happen afterwards. Then the next IV was a IV that they gave him to relax him, because he was going to be there for so long, so he can be relaxed. And then the last one was the actual chemo, the treatment, and it went for a long time. So each bag took between 30 and an hour to get through his system. So we went there. That was the first day, and that was back in 2018. So that was the first day. So anybody that's been through it, the first day is so hard because you have to watch them go through all that. This is a lot. So he was relaxed. He was sleeping to go through all that. So that's what our journey been. So 4 years later, we still doing this treatment. So the first part of the treatments was he went once a week. And in the midst of all that, he had to have radiation. So you would do radiation 5 days a week for a week straight, and then you still have to take your chemo. So that was just a lot in your body. So how the treatment going like a 4 stage, you get chemo, you do radiation, then you get chemo, and then you get immunotherapy, which is another form of the last part of chemo. That's which is in right now. And so the first year we went first week every week. Then after that we went every 2 weeks. And then after that, I think for the last year we've been going every 21 days. So the part about that part, if you have never seen anybody go through what the chemo is, you have your good and bad days. So there's been some days where he'll be fine, and there'll be some days where it's not great, not at all. That first day we had it, he came home, he slept, and I think the next day or later on that next day, he was so sick, the nausea, the throwing up, it was just so bad. It was so hard to see this man go through that one. Now I give a little bit of backstory about my husband, and he's okay with this one because he actually let me interview him. He didn't want to come on camera. I tried to get him to come on camera so I could just do the interview and y'all could see us talking, but he was okay with me just talking about it and interviewing him. So I'm gonna give you a backstory. So my husband was like a buff dude, just buffed up, and to see him lose weight like that with all this happened like within a month, we didn't know what was going on. And in the meantime, he was diabetic. We didn't understand where that came from. So he was diabetic, and then once they got that under control, he just started losing weight. That's when we figured, that's when they kind of went back, and that's probably when the chemo, the cancer was probably there somewhere. And the only reason why that we found it out when we found it out was because if he hadn't never got that water or that lump on his neck, we would have never known. We would have never found that out. So that's how we found out that he had. That's what made us really dig into what was going on. So yeah, that's my story. Now let's talk about the part where we've been going through this for 4 years, and every time we go to the doctor's just amazed that he's still alive. It's rough. I'm not gonna lie. It's hard. Not only was it hard on him, I think people forgot that it was hard on me as a caregiver. And I would never say anything. I would never say, you know what, I didn't never make it about me. I made sure that it was always about him. But then we never really like sat down and talked about what would happen if something happened. So one day we had a very deep, intense conversation, and it was bad. It was so rough. I would say, well, I shouldn't say bad. It was rough on us because I was upset. I was crying. He got teared up. It was so hard because we just had to come to the realization that he had a 50-50 chance, not even that, to make it. And for him to still be here 4 years later, I'm just thanking God they still here 4 years later. But now I get to the reason why I'm giving y'all a backstory while we're here. Now what they do what we call a PET scan. So let me tell you, it started in his lymph node. It traveled through his lymph node and it set at the top of his stomach. Sitting at the top of his stomach, so when it lights up, that's when they know what the cancer is. So by him having the chemo, it's treating whatever part. So eventually the neck went down. That part kind of died off, and they, with the radiation, all that kind of stuff. But before, I guess it traveled. So now, come to today, he has to go and get another, what we call a PET scan. They do a CAT scan to see where it is, but the PET scan actually shows what light up. When you have a PET scan, they have you, they give you IV, they give you the stuff to drink, whatever they give you, something to light your body up, so it lights up the cells that's cancerous. So that's what they got to go see, because the last time they did the scan, he goes every 3 months, and this is 3 months ago. They saw something on the right side. Now, they was like, okay, we're not too worried about it because it could have just been a shadow from the scan. They really didn't know. So they said they had to wait 3 months. So now tomorrow is going to be our 3-month mark where we're going to go. And he's going to have that scan to see what that is. Now, in the meantime, this is the things that we go through. When he had the radiation, because they targeted all up in here, where the esophagus is, where the neck, all of this here, that killed all his taste buds. Like, he have no taste buds. Like, it's like nothing. And I always joke with him that I can cook and it really don't even matter because I don't even have to season the food. He won't know the difference. Don't tell him I told y'all that, but he won't. So we have to go through that. And the eating habits is really bad. There's been some days that he can eat a little something that we just be. Some days it's good, some days it's bad. The bad days are when it's really rough because he's just being there, just sick and throwing. It's nothing as a wife, as a partner, as his best friend. I feel so defeated because it's nothing that I can do. It's nothing I can do. I can just be there and try to comfort him and be there. But I feel so helpless because there's nothing I can do to ease what he's going through, because I can't even say I know what you're going through because I don't. And it's hard, it's hard on me as the caregiver. I shouldn't say caregiver. Me as his wife, me as his partner, me as his best friend. It's just hard on us. And people tend to forget they need to check on us and make sure we're okay. Because mentally, I was fucked. And y'all know I'll never cuss. Mentally, I was done. I was so, oh my God, how can I put it? I was just so not in tune with anything, I was losing focus at work. I couldn't concentrate because every day because he never saw me upset. I never let him see me cry and get sad about it. When I left here, every morning I would go to work. Whenever I had to go to work, I would just cry all the way to work and then cry all the way home because I didn't know what to do. And then until I got to the point where it was like, you know what? We have to talk about it. So that's when the story came. That's when I told you we talked, and I just had to cry. I'm so intense. I'm so nervous. I hate the fact that I don't know, but I just leave because I always do believe that God only give you what He know you can handle. What He know you can handle. And I'm not knocking nobody else that's going through, because everybody go through it differently. everybody go through it differently. This is my story. This is my journey. This is how I dealt with it. And how I dealt with it was that I just try to just think so positive and just be all positive. But don't get it twisted. It's been times that it's been really bad because realize that this person's going through that one. I could have came off being overbearing, over just everything. I could have just been freaking annoying. And then being annoying could be that he backlashed. So it's got to the point that he's a very sweet, gentle guy. But some days he was so mean. And it's like, and we talked about that. That was just him going through what he was going through. And then me being who I am, like, I ain't got to take that. But then I had to sit back and think about it. Like, I have to take that because it's not his fault that he's going through that. And it's not my fault that he's going through it. It's nobody's fault. It just is what it is. So once we got past all the craziness and then how we didn't know how to handle it. He didn't know how to handle it. He didn't know how to show it. He would tell you how you feeling today, babe. I'm fine. And I could look at him and know he's not good. I can look at him and tell when he's not good. So that is what my story is. You know, I remember I talked about it before and we came back and I never told you guys, but today is very emotional because it's been 4 years ago today. And by the time you guys see this video, it's going to be raw. I'm not cutting nothing out. I'm not going to cut nothing out. I'm just going to give it to you guys the way it is. It's not easy. I'm going through it. I'm totally just pray every day. I don't know what, just do it. And I always feel like that. I share my story and I feel like I just shared it again because you never know when somebody is going through it. So remember, people, it's not the person that's is going through the actual treatments, which is daunting and bad enough. Think about the person that's there, have to watch it, that feels so freaking helpless that we don't know what we can't do anything, and you are so just feel helpless. You feel defeated, and it's hard. It's hard, and people will say you're not the one going through it. Oh, yes, the hell I am. I see it every day, and it's hard to see somebody who you love go through all the pain and the anguish and seeing them just sick like that. That's not an easy thing to do, and it's not easy. So, people, remember, check on the person that's going through it, and check on the person that's have to watch that person go through it, because it's not easy. If you have any questions about anything, just put them in the comments below and I'll just try to answer, because I've been going through it for so long that you know, and it's okay because I have someone who I can talk to somebody. It's not an easy thing. It's not. Ooh, Jesus. Okay, Fox and Stars, y'all see I'm always happy and go lucky, but today was just a sad day for me because 4 years ago today, and we reflect on it this morning. We was like, damn, it's been 4 years. And because he asked me I was going to try to do this live. I was like, there's no way I can do this live. I can barely get through it recording it, let alone try to do it live. But alright guys, that's my story. I probably was all over the place, but hey, today is my story. And thank you for being here and listening to me. I'll be back soon, and when I don't know guys, just thank you for listening, and everyone have a very wonderful day. And I'm just gonna go and reflect on this day and get my bearings back together. So I appreciate you guys for sitting up here, just listen to me talk. I love you guys. Take care. Bye.